Today's sponsor of the Vision Quest podcast is 920 Hat Company. Leather patch hats are in, and 920 Hat Company is here to hook you up with your very own custom hat. All patches are lasered on top-grade genuine leather and on popular brand hats like Richardson and FlexFit. Whether you're looking to show off your business or want a one-of-a-kind hat for yourself, 920 Hat Company can do it all. All the hats are handcrafted right in the Fox Valley, but worn across America. With over 500 hats in stock, they guarantee fast turnaround times. Honestly, Liam, looking at these hats, solid, right?
Yeah, they're pretty. I like them.
I like that patch itself.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, one-of-a-kind stuff. I know his name's Trevor. He does great work. He's actually gotten I think we got a knit hat coming.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, we got that coming. So we're really excited to have these guys on board as a sponsor. So get down to check them out on Facebook. I believe they're on Instagram. Check them out, man. They got the best hats, I think, in the Fox Valley, if not in the state.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So get down to 920 Hat Company on social media and check them out.
Cool.
All right, everyone, we are back. We tried getting this once. My head was pounding that day, I think it was. And then stuff got busy. We rescheduled, and here we are. And we have the man, the myth, the legend, Cory Scanlan from La Crosse area wrestling. He's like, woo. You're pretty humble, dude. So I was looking through, because I asked you for pictures to do your flyers, Cory. And I was looking through the Facebook page, and there's nothing by yourself. Like, there's nothing of you just kind of on the corner coaching. You're either with an athlete or you have parents by your side. You're pretty dedicated to that club over there, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty much my full-time job on top of my full-time job. So
That's pretty sweet. Well, we'll get into that in a little bit. We want to find out more about you. So are you from Wisconsin? Were you born and raised in Wisconsin?
I was born in La Crosse. I kind of split time when I was younger between Brownsville, Minnesota. It's a small town, half hour from La Crosse.
Okay.
And then I've pretty much been in La Crosse my whole youth.
Yeah.
Growing up and everything.
I don't know. I mean, I've been around you forever, just with duels with Liam and stuff like that and tournaments and everything. I mean, I've gotten a chance to, kind of stop and chat with you, but I mean, I don't know any. You are like a myth. Like, I don't know anything about you. It's like, hey, there goes that Cory again. He's walking through the tournament. He's kind of going through. So with this, has sports always been part of your life from the get go? Have you always been kind of an athlete?
I started wrestling the first time when I was 6, 7, probably.
Okay.
And all we had was La Crosse Boys and Girls Club.
Really?
I did it for a year, and I mean, I was pretty much the same size I was now then. So I
right on. Yeah.
I was, always had to practice and like tournaments. I just had to wrestle middle schoolers and just got the shit kicked out of me. So I'm like, this is not my gig.
Sucks. Yeah.
And then my second year was actually the first year of law. I was in law.
Oh, wow.
And
what year was that?
That was 1995.
Okay. Wow.
Yep. And I stuck it out for a little while, but was not liking it at the time.
Yeah.
Like I was in the weight class that at state had one kid.
Oh, sure.
That weight class.
Yeah. You're like, oh, you got a trophy. Look at
that. Right.
Yeah. That's fun.
But
so
then,
go ahead.
Started growing in 7th grade.
Yeah.
Played football. And my stepdad was, he was a big athlete back in high school. He's from Waterford.
Okay.
And I did pretty good in football. So everyone's like, oh, you should wrestle. So I went out for wrestling again.
Yeah.
Did the whole middle school thing. And did pretty well, on the little middle school circuit.
Yeah.
Then 8th grade ended up going back to law.
Okay.
Kind of was all in after that.
Well, obviously as you grew, you had to grow into your size. So you were starting to get more matches, getting more competition, stuff like that. It's not like you weren't at some point. So when do you think you hit, you kind of had like a growth spurt where things kind of leveled out a little bit for yourself? Was it like 7th grade, 8th grade when you started to kind of see guys that are actually your size and in your age?
Yeah, I'd say 7th grade, just in the, lacrosse area circuit. I probably had, a dozen matches, 15 matches, but every competition we went to, we had, I had a match.
Yeah.
I was about 220, 230 in 7th grade.
Oh shit.
I was about the same height I was now then.
Yeah, I was going to say, because you must have been holding yourself pretty tall to be able to carrying that weight around, playing football, being athletic. So holy cow! So that was at 7th and 8th grade.
Yeah, that was 7th grade, 8th grade. I remember. I think the weight classes are the same. I think it was the 240-pound weight class at state.
For those of you that don't know Cory and haven't seen him, he stands pretty tall even now. You got to be. You're what, 6'4", 6'5" right now?
I'm about 6'3".
6'3", yeah. And I'm only 5'10", so I'm still looking up towards you to see you. So knowing that you've been that size, that's impressive. So what did that kind of did that help you a little bit? Kind of going, because you're a bigger dude. Were you able to kind of handle guys a little bit more as you matured and you got muscle and things like that?
Yeah, a little bit. Was very uncoordinated at the time.
Yeah,
I'm still pretty damn uncoordinated. But
you're a big kid, man.
It's pulling off.
Yeah. So I wasn't great. I tell everybody, obviously I was done by my junior year, and I stopped wrestling because I was uncoordinated upper body wise. I couldn't hand fight with guys. I wasn't into clubbing and hitting, and I was into punching, but I wasn't into getting slapped in the side of the head, all that stuff. So it's kind of like when the muscle part came in, it was like, I'm good. I play soccer. This is plenty. I get hit in the head enough on the soccer field, but I wasn't big. I was only like in the 140s, and I was a short little dude too. So I was always getting picked on. I can't imagine what it's like being towering over all these kids, being huge, essentially being able to probably pick each, a guy up in each arm when you're walking around. So as you got through high school, was high school like your football was your thing? I take it through high school then, right?
Yeah, I was big into football. That's what I think my stepdad was most passionate about. So
yeah, that's cool.
I kind of, was big into that. Freshman year we came in, and I had no thoughts of being on varsity by any means.
Yeah.
And we had a good team, going into my freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 senior heavyweights got hurt during football.
Okay.
And didn't wrestle, so I kind of got thrown out to the wolves. And it was a long year, let's put it that way. It was a very long year for me.
I can only imagine.
I took some pride. I didn't get pinned a whole lot.
There you go.
In duels.
Yep.
But I lived about 5 minutes a match on my back in duels. So.
I feel you. That's why I quit. That's why I was not good. So,
but we had our team that year. We were 15-0 in duels.
Mm-hmm.
Went to state. We lost Wisconsin Rapids back in their heyday.
Yeah.
Right away. But
yep.
It was a good year, experience wise, and we had a lot of good upperclassmen that were good mentors on the team.
So you're talking 2005 area, 2006?
That would have been 2002.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was trying to do some of the math of when you went to school, because I graduated in 97. So I was a lot of school by then. I was worried about partying and all that other crazy stuff. So that was your sophomore year. What did you, now with your wrestling, as far as coming up, were there any guys that you remember you're like, man, I was so close to beating him, but I didn't quite beat him?
Yeah, when by the time, most people were beating me freshman year, like I said. Sophomore year, I started getting more wins.
Yep.
And end of my sophomore year is the first time I did freestyle Greco.
Okay.
I didn't even know it was a thing. Maybe it wasn't a huge thing before then, but UWL had a little program.
Okay.
Josh ran that. I think he's actually just moved back to Wisconsin. I think he's helping out at Ringers now.
Who is that?
Josh Habeck.
He could be. He could be. I think I heard Jim talking about him down there, but I know it was just kind of a in and out kind of thing at that point. But he could be definitely down there.
Yeah, I know he was in Colorado for a long time, but he ran a freestyle program here, and John Lorenz was in town at the time, and he was doing some Greco, so did that, and I fell in love with freestyle Greco. I think it was just because, no one was watching those matches, so there wasn't pressure on me.
A lot of pressure, right? Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, I did good there. Won 16U freestyle Greco State, did Fargo.
Yeah.
That whole thing, and really started to buy into the wrestling a lot more then.
So when you started, you said you fell in love with freestyle Greco. Were you finding yourself maybe not wanting to wrestle high school wrestling anymore and just wanted to, hey, I really like this? Or was that not even really a thought in like people's minds back then?
Yeah, I don't think that wasn't even a thought.
No.
I mean, I would have if that nowadays.
Sure.
Maybe, I don't know, but
sure, yeah.
I just enjoyed it a lot more for some reason. I don't know why.
Sure. Sometimes you see a guy, obviously, like you said, you loved it. So sometimes you see guys gravitate towards something and they just kind of, they put everything else to the side. Not even necessarily saying that they're going to, they want to go to like the Olympics or anything like that. But they're like, I just really like this sport. And they start doing it. So I know, because that was me. That's kind of what I did with soccer, because I wrestled for a little bit and then I stopped. And then I think I started again up in, was it my 8th grade year or something like that? I think I took 2 years off and I started wrestling again because I needed something to do in the winter. I was bored. I was tired of skiing. I was tired of snowboarding, stuff like that. So I needed something to do. So I wound up wrestling again. But soccer was the one thing that just really kind of drove me. And I was just like, that's why I quit it. But sometimes, I mean, I did 3 sports, then we died it down to 2 sports. And so that's hard, I mean, especially when you're in school and you're trying to keep your grades up and everything like that too. It was not easy for me to be in that many sports at the same time and keep things up. But with what you were trying to do and what you were getting done in school, as far as, wanting to go to college, was that the forefront of your mind too, as far as, I want to go to college, so I'm going to stick with this sport, but obviously you liked wrestling enough where you kept it, but were you thinking more of college down the line as you got to like, junior, senior year?
I'd say I thought about playing college football a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, I'd say it probably wasn't until spring of my senior year.
Yeah.
When I got a phone call. Tim Fader was the coach at UWL when I was in high school.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And he went to Whitewater.
Mm-hmm.
They contacted me about wrestling, and I never really thought about it much before, Yeah. Didn't end my senior year on a good note. Wasn't happy with my results.
Mm-hmm.
Beat a lot of pretty good kids that year and just fell short. I always wanted to make that podium at state.
Yeah.
And so I kind of, if that wouldn't have happened, I probably wouldn't have wrestled in college.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit, like I still got a lot of goals I want to do in wrestling still.
Okay.
So I ended up giving that a try.
Okay. So you want to go to Whitewater?
I did.
Okay.
I ended up not going there. I ended up spending a lot of time in the lacrosse UWL room.
Okay. Yep. Makes sense.
That year.
It's right there.
But it was a gray shirt.
Okay.
I think is what they called it, where we went to the tech school.
Yep.
Here, because like I said, I didn't really think about college by the time I was a senior.
I didn't either.
Wasn't worried about it. Wasn't doing the ACTs till spring of my senior year.
I didn't either.
Oh.
So you had to put a little extra work in for as far as school goes, right?
Yeah. I remember.
Yeah, my grades are horrible.
Yeah, I think I had to miss freestyle state my senior year to do the ACT, because that's like the only time I could do it, and I hadn't done it yet. Okay,
right on. Yeah, it was not fun. I mean, because we had to do like a 2-day study or something like that for it before we took it, and that was not a good time. That's what at that point. That's when I had decided in my mind, I'm not going to school just because I got to go through this to get there. I've been doing this. Why do I got to do more? I had some weird thinking back in the day, but so you got into college, and so your freshman year, you said you're up in the lacrosse room quite a bit. Did that help you a lot?
Yeah. I mean, before we keep going though, back to the one guy.
Yep.
Just because I ran into him at our Christmas party actually a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it still pisses me off to this day. We get along good, but
yeah. Who was that?
Gilbert Chavez. He was from Baraboo.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He's probably a 3-time placer.
Yeah.
I think he took second his senior year.
Yeah.
And he beat the crap out of me my like freshman, sophomore year. And
okay.
My junior year, I think we wrestled 4 or 5 times, and I think every match was a 1-point match.
Ooh.
And I bombed him at his home tournament in Baraboo to his back right away, and
yes,
just couldn't finish it. He ended up coming back, beating me. But it's so nice. We see each other. We shoot the shit. His kid wrestles for Austin's youth program. So
okay, cool.
I see him at a lot of tournaments and stuff.
Nice.
But yeah, we get along good, and we're good buddies and everything. But I still just every time I see him, I'm like, that fucker.
Right. Yeah, no shit. That's exactly what I would say too. And then you shake his hand, and you're like, God damn it. So you get into college. How long? I mean, obviously you'd take care of some things. So did that go into effect once you got everything squared away? Were you wrestling on the team? How did that go for you?
Just practice with the team.
Okay.
Pretty much the whole summer going into my freshman year.
Yeah.
And at the time, I mean, they had one of the best teams in D3. Ryan Allen was their heavyweight.
Okay.
I didn't go with him a whole lot, but I mean, he was losing in overtime to Steve Mocko and Cole Conrad at the time. So he was elite.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. So, I mean, that was pretty much just a beating if I went with him, but they had amazing upper weights at the time in general.
Right.
So definitely improved my wrestling immensely. And then would not advise kids, at least their first year, to go to college where their hometown is, just because there's a lot of distractions.
Yeah. We talked about that a little bit. I mean, because that's, you got to be comfortable. Number one, you want to be comfortable where you are, but you don't want to be too comfortable where you can get lazy. Like you said, either you party too much or you wind up, knowing too many people where there's too much stuff going on. You get distracted, and you want to be able to stay focused on what you're doing. So was that something that you found? Was you got a little distracted in college?
Yeah, I didn't make it past the first semester. That was the year they took down a bunch of dorms too and whatnot. So,
oh, really? Wow.
So they pretty much moved they let freshmen live in houses. So we had 8 EWL wrestlers living in a house together that were all freshmen. Not the best idea in the world.
No, it's not a great idea. No. Sounds fun.
And then, I had all the hometown guys who, didn't have goals in
sure.
The sports world in college. So it just,
you definitely weren't. You weren't surrounded by focus.
No.
Definitely no focus there.
And I don't think any of those wrestlers made it all 4 years either.
Wow.
Unfortunately,
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, there's some pretty talented kids in that group too.
Did you notice that? Because that's kind of obviously because I graduated in '97. Was that kind of I don't want to say a trend, but was that kind of a thing back then where kids were just kind of doing it? They had really big goals, but didn't realize what it took. And then all of a sudden they got into college and just kind of fell off, and then they weren't doing the wrestling thing. It's not even so much school. I mean, a lot of people finish school, but just kind of the athletic goals and dreams that they kind of had. It seems like in the early 2000s that things were really cool as a fad, and then there's just too much work and kind of went away. Did that happen a lot back then?
Yeah, I think a lot of kids just didn't know what it took either.
Sure. Yeah.
They weren't surrounded by as many people as they are now.
Yeah.
In the high school level.
Yeah. True.
And yeah, I think a lot of kids I think they ran things differently. I mean, a lot of kids were beat to shit and put through a meat grinder a lot more than they are now.
Sure. Sure. Well, and then plus, I mean, you got to think about it too. If the field right now is that thick and it wasn't back then, I mean, imagine if a kid wanted to get competition, imagine when he had to go through. You know,
right.
not only just the slumps, you know, in wrestling, maybe some guys that weren't that great, but then you go and wrestle the guys that were great and you're getting your ass kicked because you just don't have the guys to compete with. You don't have the guys around. So that was, I take it that was kind of the petering off there, the college era for you, right?
The following year, I had a buddy that I went to high school with.
Yeah.
He went to a junior college in Rochester, Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
So I ended up going there, wrestled the year there, really, really fell in love with wrestling again over there. Like, took everything serious from, you know, how you should do it. You know, how many hours I was going to sleep a night.
Yep.
I had meal plans.
Wow.
You know, nutrition, weightlifting, everything.
Okay.
And, yeah, it was a funny year. Great group of guys. I'm still good friends with a lot of kids on that team.
Yeah.
The coach, still talk to the coach almost weekly.
Okay. Well, it sounds like it had a positive impact on you as far as, you know, athletics and stuff like that, is kind of getting back into the swing of things, going from a bottom to a kind of a top level.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
Sure.
good.
And then, you know, yeah, had a good year. I mean, it was fun. You know, you travel all over the place.
Yeah.
In college, nationals, went pretty dang, you know, didn't end up on the podium, but
right.
Won some matches at nationals. And then that was it for college for me. I could have came back another year there, but college was not in my thing. So just started, I've been working out in the field, construction ever since.
Sure. And honestly, that's kind of, I had that revelation, you know, like my senior year. I just realized with grades in school, like school just wasn't my thing. I just was not a school guy. I was great with sports. Ask me to keep my grades up during sports, I'll do that. But if I don't have anything to put it towards, like education, I was learning so much more already doing a co-op. I was working like half a day and then go to school half a day. I was learning so much doing that. And I was thinking, like, why isn't half this shit in school? Like, why am I not learning this in school? You know, like instead of, I remember it was my sophomore year, and then my junior year, I walked in my counselor's office because I would go into her office every week looking at stupid colleges. I say stupid colleges. Kids go to school. College isn't stupid. But looking at them, and she kind of, and I would think about this now, but she would kind of give me this face like, you know, it's like the fifth college you're talking about. You're probably, you know, why are we talking about colleges? Like, I don't know. It's cool to look at. It's a nice magazine, you know, it's cool pictures, but it's rough, man. I mean, unless you know that that you have a goal, college is not fun. I watched a couple buddies go through it. But so when you are on your way to, just, you said you're going to work, stuff like that. So kind of life happens in between and you run into this law thing.
Yeah, well, I started working, doing construction. Then I did MMA for a couple years.
Oh, no shit. I didn't know you did MMA. See? What the?
Yeah, did that.
Holy cow.
I think I did. I was trying to think last night. I'm like, man, I don't know if this is signs of CTE or what, but I'm like, I had 5 or 6 fights. I can't remember.
Yeah. Probably a sign.
But, yeah, that was a little adventure. I ended up hanging that up. I blew my knee out one night at judo class, tore my patella tendon, ACL, everything.
Ouch.
So hung that up quick.
Yeah.
Then,
yeah.
One of my good buddies was, he's a West Salem Bangor alum.
Okay.
And he's like, hey, want to go watch? They made team sectionals. They're in the Dells wrestling tonight.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, sure. I'll go watch or whatever.
Yep.
The freshman heavyweight on their team's older brothers I wrestled with in high school.
Yeah.
And his dad's like, hey, you should come in, work out with Aaron Brewer was the kid's name. He's like, you should come out, work out with him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay. So I ended up coaching West Salem Bangor there for 3 years.
Okay. Wow. Nice.
And then they had a co-op program, co-head coaches, and the coaches kind of had a falling out, and all the assistants pretty much are like, this is too much drama. We're out.
Yeah.
Too, you know?
Yeah. That's fun.
But going through the West Salem Bangor program, Devin got to know Devin Barr,
okay,
his family, and his parents really well. And
Yep.
The Van Mannens, and they were running law at the time.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. And, their kids were getting out of high school. They had, pretty much no reason to do it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
So they talked to myself, Brian Gaffney, and Nate Clements. They're like, hey, you guys want to come in and kind of take this over? And it's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yeah, why not? Let's take over a wrestling club. So how long have they had that around for though? How long has law been around?
Law's been there's some discrepancies.
Okay.
John Burns and Dan Gorgon and a guy named Kelly started it in 95.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But there's claims that Mr. English, longtime teacher at Aquinas, who just actually passed away last year, started it back in the 70s.
Really? Interesting.
But it was kind of, he called it law, but it was more informal thing, just area guys getting together wrestling.
Yeah. Right.
But what we have today started in 1995 with those guys.
Okay.
And then when Van Manen and those guys' kids started getting up, the other guys' kids started graduating and whatnot. So kind of went over to them, and then here we are now. So
you've been at the helm since what, 2016?
The seniors last year were 8th graders. So whatever that is.
2015, something like that. Yeah, 2015, somewhere in that area. So that's pretty good. I mean, now when you took it over, so obviously you were in wrestling, things like that. But I mean, in your head, you'd coached at the high school, but now it's a club. I mean, did you take the same kind of mentality that you had when you were in the wrestling room in the high school with those guys and kind of take it over, or were you still learning things as you were kind of going when it comes to coaching? Yeah, coaching's not simple, man. I mean, you're dealing with not just the kids in the room, but the parents, and you got you're probably looking at events for the kids. I mean, so where did you have a teacher that was in there that was kind of showing you how they did stuff too, or was it just they threw it to you and you took over?
The first year we just mainly were in the room coaching.
Okay, yeah,
and the year after that we kind of took everything over.
Okay. So you got your feet a little wet before you kind of jumped in, but okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
But I mean, at the time, Coach Gaffney and Coach Clements, they did a lot. I mean, I talked about my career earlier. Mm-hmm. I wasn't winning any damn Olympic medals or anything, so I definitely am not claiming that I was a great wrestler or know everything about wrestling, but I picked a lot of people's brains.
Oh, for sure.
A lot of information up.
Yeah. Doing some homework.
We did kind of went in and we, pretty much went in blind to it.
Sure.
But yeah. I mean, Coach Gaff, I mean, he pretty much runs the show. Me and him run the show, majority of it now, like all the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
And Gaffney runs day-to-day practices, and we brought a lot of other people in that are very knowledgeable of the sport to help us out too.
Nice. So when you guys, from year to year, so this is one thing that I never really got into with too many coaches. From year to year, do you guys notice that, I mean, because we talk about the sport evolving a lot, as far as wrestling in general, do you guys find from year to year that you keep things the same? I mean, clubs have tradition, you know what I'm saying? Clubs have ways that they do things. I don't say that, you guys say no to like innovation or anything like that, but when things come around and the sport evolves, you guys have been around since, the 90s here. Have there been a lot of changes within the club since you've been there? I mean, have you guys, and again, like I said, it's not to say that coaches and clubs and teams like that don't evolve at some point with whatever the sport is, what's going on, but do you guys find yourself staying pretty traditional as far as how you do things, or have you guys evolved as well?
Yeah. I mean, I think we've changed from year one very drastically.
Okay.
Mainly just, you learn as you go.
Sure.
And I mean, the sport's changed drastically, in the last 10 years.
That's for sure.
Like, for sure the last 20.
So who are some of the kids when in your first year, if you remember, did you guys have any state champs your first year?
At the high school level?
Yeah.
You talking? Yeah. Yeah, we had, what year would that be?
I think I want to say 2015.
That would have been, the year we took over is after like that really good group of kids graduated, like Van Manen, those guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right on.
I think we had a couple Minnesota guys win state.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you guys had Minnesota kids coming across too for practices.
Yeah, we have a handful of Minnesota teams that come over here.
Okay.
Caledonia, Minnesota, Winona.
Yeah. I didn't know that. I mean, I guess I shouldn't say that. I know a couple kids, I mean, one or two, but I didn't realize that it was that kind of it's almost kind of a swap because we have kids that go to Pinnacle from Wisconsin, things like that. So interesting.
Right.
I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah, I'd say, I don't think we did our first year. I think that was the year Jan wrestled Keckeisen in the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Did not go Kalen's way. Keckeisen's a beast.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
He actually comes up here and does some camps in the spring, some freestyle camps, and
awesome.
He's a great kid. He's wildly knowledgeable and But
so when you guys get to, you have your law duels, you have the club there for law. Are there other things that law does within the wrestling area there? I mean, do you guys have a beanbag tournament?
We do a beach wrestling in the summer.
That's right. Yeah, I'm looking at your page right now because I see that. I was going to bring that up, but I didn't know if you guys do a lot of stuff. I mean, you guys are pretty community involved. I know of a lot of clubs, that are within the state. You got you guys, you got Crosse, you got AWA, stuff like that. But I noticed you guys do a lot within the community itself. And it's not to say that these other clubs don't do anything, but you guys are pretty out there. And like I said, I've never seen a picture of you, just you. You're always surrounded by people within the wrestling area and things like that. So, I mean, you've obviously embraced the sport quite a bit. I mean, it's done stuff for you and you obviously have a certain passion for it. And I'm noticing a trend between coaches. You guys weren't very good as athletes. Like I wasn't, but these coaches that I'm talking to, like you guys weren't the world beaters. You know what I'm saying? But you guys can motivate. You can reach out to kids. You have a way to be able to get into their head and let them know that, hey, you can get this done. You can do this and be a motivator. It doesn't take to be Jordan Burroughs, to be able to lead kids and show them what they can do. And I've watched you guys on the mat, I would say, God, for the past 5-6 years, you guys have always been that way with the kids. You guys are always pretty even keeled, but still in the match. You can see you guys when you're coaching, you're into it. You're still just as into it as probably the same day when you were in high school in wrestling. So knowing that you guys have that rich tradition and a lot of history there as far as what you guys have done. And I've got what Fitzpatrick's have been through your room. I can name a couple other ones, short little blonde kids. I can't remember their last name right now, but I can remember another 3 or 4 kids that were high school state placers, things like that. So you guys have been around, and it's not like you're trying to start 5, 6, 7, 8 locations. You guys, looks to me that you're true to what you guys do and you stick to that. That's why I kind of asked about the whole evolution of things, because you guys are so to the way that you are. You guys stick to a plan. You guys have something that you do and it works. I mean, it's not like you guys are just some dudes out babysitting kids. You guys are putting kids in, they're getting, state championships, or they're getting, youth championships, or going out to Tulsa and doing well at Tulsa, things like that. So what is the motivation or the, kind of break it down to the philosophy in the room when you guys are coaching with these kids? Cause I mean, it's hard on a day to day. I mean, when you're dealing with 30, 40, 50, maybe sometimes 60 kids, 3 coaches in a room to keep a gauge on that. Is the community pretty well behind you guys too? I mean, what is your philosophy? Like I said, the philosophy in the room, does the community get behind you guys a lot? And what's the dynamic there?
Yeah, I mean, we, the people that are in the club, I mean, they're super devoted to what we do.
Sure.
I mean, we try to let everyone in. I mean, we keep our prices are very low.
Sure.
You know, I mean, we all work full-time jobs on top of what we do here.
Yeah.
And we run year round. I mean, that's one thing that we did change when we got here. Before the summer, you had maybe a couple kids training freestyle Greco kind of like on their own.
Yeah. Right.
And then we brought in, we scheduled classes in the summer. And, I mean, that first year was like 8 kids, 10 kids. And, last year it was like 40 kids, a couple nights a week all summer. Well, so, I mean, that's been awesome.
And then you just added the girls.
Yep. Yeah. We just started that next week. Yeah. We started it kind of 2 years ago, but it was kind of during COVID and
sure.
The sport didn't grow much back then. I mean, people had to do what they had to do with wrestling.
Correct.
And we had a girl up a couple of years ago. Her brother wrestled at Missouri.
Okay.
And she came up here for grad school, and Sam Ernesti was her name. Her brother was John Ernesti.
Okay, that I know that last name. Yep.
Yeah, she kind of started all girls program, but we didn't have much going on, and that wasn't exactly, like you said, the time where people were joining a sport,
right?
During that,
yeah, it was rough.
So we're excited to start that girls program. There's a lot of girls in the area that I think would wrestle, but they just don't have that all girls practice.
Sure.
That female coach.
Yep. Good. Joette Casa, is that her name?
Yeah. Yep. I
nice.
Ran into her actually this summer at the UWL wrestling golf outing.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Because she's a manager there, and I'm just like, hey, any managers actually wrestle back in high school? And she's like, oh, I did,
Yeah.
I knew her head coach used to coach at La Crosse Central.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Cool. Wow, man.
So I talked to
small community, man. I mean, everybody's kind of done something right there, like everybody's been a part of something. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I know. Some people are always like non-wrestling families, like hear us talk, and they're like, how does everyone know everyone? I'm like, well, it's a pretty small world when you think about it.
It really is. Yeah, because you always know, because it's funny going to like even just a middle school tournament, you look around, you're like, they're new. Where'd they come from? Who's that? Who's that person? And they're like, oh yeah, no, it's kids that just started in the tournaments. It's like that explains it, and it's just weird. Like I said, I've seen you forever, but it's like we're always busy. Like either I'm coaching Liam, or you're on your way to coach someone else, or you're talking things like that. But it is a very small community, man. I mean, we don't.
Yeah, it is.
That could be a curse and a blessing, I guess. It's twofold,
right? Yeah, for sure.
But you're in a tight community out there, man. I mean, you got guys that are helping in all types of angles. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we have different guys that come in. Yeah. I mean, in the Ben Thornton, after he came back from Peru, he's helped out quite a bit.
Okay.
He's a physical therapist now.
Oh, nice.
He finished up grad school last year. He was helping out at UWL.
Yeah.
Now he's working full time, and he helps out our youth. He does a lot of our preseason stuff. He does our high school in-season practices.
Nice.
See, like I said, I wasn't the best wrestler, so I'm going to make sure I'm going to bring in the best ones I know around.
But at least you admit that. At least you know that, and then you take the steps. Right. You take the steps. That's what a good coach does. He takes the steps to make sure that they have all the tools in place for his athletes. Yeah, perfect. See, you don't have to fucking win the Olympics to coach. I mean, come on, man. You got to just be dedicated to athletes and know what you're doing. And trust me, it's not easy doing what you're doing. I mean, you're running a club. There's so many different angles that people don't think about. And then plus you're dealing with personalities in the room. And plus, okay, you're going to get upset parents, but you're dealing with fucking parents, and some of them can be crazy, and we don't need no stories or anything like that. But I mean, we all just know that we get passionate about our kids. We get concerned about our kids, and Cory's got to deal with like 50 of them, or probably 100, because there's 2 parents per kid. So it's not easy. These guys go through a lot of work. You do a lot of planning for a season, as far as like, planning a practice, or the week's practices, things like that. It's not easy, man. So kudos to you for doing that, because that's a big task. That's a big job. So do you Do you enjoy doing this? Is this, I mean, and it's not that you don't have to go on here and be like, no, I hate coaching, it's horrible. But I mean, obviously everyday struggles, just like a job kind of thing. But with all the things that come with it, have you ever thought about hanging it up?
Not for a long time, man.
No?
I mean, I would definitely take a back seat at some point.
Sure. Yeah. But you're there.
I'll be involved for quite a while. I mean, I'm probably in the room over 300 days a year.
Nice.
And maybe some days I'll be like, man, I've been up here 20 days in a row, sometimes twice a day. I'm like, I'm chilling today. Yeah. Someone else got this, Are
you married yet?
What's that?
Are you married yet?
No, I would be if I had more time.
That's what I was going to say. I can tell you're not fucking married because you're in that wrestling room all the time. Hard to meet chicks. You can meet Matt mites. You can't meet chicks there. Yeah. So you're pretty dedicated. So with the club coming up, and now you just started this girls program. Well, you've had girls, but now you're actually getting a girls practice together. What else is in the future for Law? What do you got going on?
A couple of years ago, we were throwing around the idea. It was actually right before COVID happened. We were gonna open up a room in Rochester, Minnesota, and that kind of fell through. And I think we're just gonna stay our one spot.
Okay.
I mean, we get kids from a long ways to come here, so
yeah.
I think we're doing the right thing.
Don't reinvent the wheel.
Right.
Yeah. So with the room, obviously maybe just instead of, like you said, move, maybe you could build something on just to add a little more room or something, to have a.
Yeah, we did tear down a wall because our place is in the middle of nowhere.
Sweet.
Up on a hill.
Even better.
And
it's the best.
We talked bar and giving us more space a couple of years ago, and we busted down the wall, and so now it's a three full mats.
Oh yeah,
so
nice.
That's awesome. But I mean, don't get me wrong, we still always pitch to them, give us the whole pole shed. We're still working on that.
Keep working. Give them the whole pole shed, dude. What are you waiting for? Yeah. So that's cool.
But but other than that, I mean, I like what we're doing right now, but obviously we're going to innovate. I mean, a couple more things we'd like to do, really trying to get more kids invested in the summer wrestling.
Sure. Yeah.
It's hard around here. Baseball's huge in this area.
Well, bring up some of the events. So you guys have the Law Duels, which I think you guys just had those, right?
Yep. Last weekend.
Yep. So you just had the Law Duels. That's one event you guys do. And then you mentioned the beach wrestling. What is that, July that you guys do that in?
It's pretty much the week in between, like when football starts and Vargo.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yep. One last kind of hoorah before the football season starts for guys, right?
Yeah.
Right on. So you have that. And now, and then how many nights a week do you guys practice?
We got, there's pretty much people in a room almost every day.
Every day, yeah.
But, we have high schoolers right now, we have our Sunday morning practice.
Okay. Yep.
Which, that's kind of been something we've been doing since before I got here. When I was coaching at West Salem, I'd come up and work out with heavyweights, 220 pounders.
Is that the way? Is it always been one day a week during the season with Law? Always do that?
It used to be. Last year we do high school on Tuesdays and Thursday nights too.
Oh, geez.
And we don't get a whole lot of kids because honestly, most people that come to our club don't live within a half hour of where we're at.
Holy cow! Really?
Some do, but Holman's about a half hour away. GT Millman's about a half hour away.
Okay, sure, yeah. I get it. That's kind of how it is around here too. A lot of people are hurting in Oshkosh. Well, Nazar's there now, but it was either driving from here to from Oshkosh to Green Bay when we lived there, or to Appleton. So it was always about a half hour, 45 minutes for us too. But I guess it's not terrible. But you guys have a really good following. Everybody that you have there has been there for quite some time. And I would say if it wasn't one kid that came up through the program, then they brought up another kid through the program, kind of thing. So it's pretty cool there. I always like seeing you guys at tournaments because, like I said, you guys are you're always competing, like not just their wrestling, but you have competitive kids. Like you've always had competitive kids. So you know that any mat you go to, you can watch these kids, they're going to wrestle well. So, and then plus with you guys, I mean, I haven't talked to one person that's had a bad experience with you. Not one. And you could say, holy Christ, I'm surprised about that. But literally, I haven't had one either. So it's you're kind of to me, one of the unspoken kind of dudes in wrestling in the state that you're doing your thing and you guys keep it going. You have a good tradition. You guys have a lot of good people around you. You are smart enough to surround yourself with good people too, with what's going on. So, I mean, all in all, a good thing. I don't see how anybody could go wrong. It's now where you said you're out in the middle of nowhere. Is it still in La Crosse though?
It's a La Crosse address. It's right outside of a little town. I think it's unincorporated called St. Joseph's Ridge.
Okay, gotcha. And that's you live on that one ridge then, right?
We're up on that ridge. Yep.
Yeah. Right on. Cool. Well, hey, dude, we're going on almost an hour, probably about 45 minutes here. I appreciate you sitting down with me again. I just had some headaches in the past, but I definitely want to get you guys on. If you have something going on, let me know. I mean, if we see stuff on social media of yours, we'll share things as much as we can. I think you're doing awesome. I think it's great. Hey, let's throw this out there. Do you have any kids that you making predictions, possibly podium this year that are in your club?
Oh, geez.
Shout them out, man. I
mean, we got Jake Fitzpatrick's looking to
weird,
repeat, yeah. I mean, he'll have some battles.
Okay.
Yep. He's got Wyatt Unser just had a big win.
Okay. Yep.
Against Casey. I know that they'll be in the same bracket. Wyatt's a tough kid. He's been down here scrapping before with Jake.
Okay. Yep.
One of our seniors, Cole Fitzpatrick, not related. He was at 32. He's one of our few D1 kids. We don't have many schools that are D1 in this area. So, always pumped when we have a kid making noise up there. But
yeah,
he blew out his knee at Ohio State. So he's done, and he's a senior. So that's a bummer.
No. That poor kid. Shout out to that Fitzpatrick right there. That sucks.
Yeah. He won the match, so that was good. At least he went out with the W.
That's right. Went out with a bang. That's right. Yeah. Who else you got around there? You got some Aquinas kids that come out by you, right?
Yeah. Tate Flaggy's having a great year.
That's right. Yeah, he's 160, huh?
Yeah. He, him, David Moline, Calvin Hargrove. They're all, ranked pretty high right now. They've placed high before, so
yeah. Nice.
I think their mind's right to get it done. Tyson Martin's a freshman. He's having a heck of a year at 95.
Yeah. It took, I think, we went to some tournament. Tyson was long. Well, we were schoolboy duels and stuff like that too.
Oh, yeah.
Good kid. Man, is he big. Holy cow.
Oh, he has weirdly insane growth spurts, and I think he's starting to go through one right now.
Is he really?
Because the other day he's like, I was 200 after practice. This is not okay. I hate cutting weight. I don't think he's ever cut a pound in his life.
Really?
Ever. If he's just heavy for a tournament, a half pound over, he's like, just sign me up for the next weight class.
Yeah. Just put it up there. I don't even care.
Yeah.
That's cool. He didn't even have that thought in his brain, I got to win this tournament. He's like, I'm not dropping weight. This is lame.
Right.
I love that kid. That's cool.
But, then Preston Cradaville's, he's a tough kid from Holman. I'm just thinking of the ones that are ranked high right now. We got a couple other kids. Turner Campbell just lost a really fun match to Amron Nutter in overtime.
Oh, okay. Nice.
I think Turner's going to compete. You probably know Turner. He was probably down at Combat quite a bit when you guys were down there.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, we have a handful of guys who I think every year we've grown our medalist and our, guys at the top of the podium. So
yeah, right. Well, and the names you've listed off, I mean, I'm pretty familiar with. Is just listen to other podcasts and stuff like that going on with the rankings and everything. But I mean, I think that's the hard part about this sport is you like to give everybody kind of credit as far as them, making progress, things like that. But it's hard. And I noticed that a lot of the podcasts have an issue doing it. Some kids just aren't that good. Sometimes it's not their time yet. and it will happen. But sometimes I was that kid. Like, I just wasn't going to be that good. I sucked, and it sucks to tell your kids that, or even to, but sometimes, I mean, that's the harsh reality of like, hey, if you want to get better, you can. No one's saying you can't, but not everybody has the same goals. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody cares about getting to the podium. They're here to wrestle, and they're here to get some exercise because they're doing this sport and they're doing this. So, and that's frustrating. That can be frustrating from a standpoint too. I was talking to Liam about it. You got guys that really want certain things. They have these huge goals, but then you got everybody else that's kind of in the background that doesn't really give a shit about that, So you gotta find a balance for yourself. But you guys have always had really good kids coming out of the room. You guys, like I said, really deep program, really long. I mean, God, if it does go back to the 70s, that's some cool shit. I think I was part of Mat Rats, and I think Mat Rats has been around since like the 80s or something like that. So it's good to have those anchors for a sport in a community, because otherwise that sport disappears, and so it's good to have those around. But I'm going to leave you on this. If you guys are ever in the area, I don't care if it's you and a couple coaches, feel free to swing by, because I got this whole big studio here that guys can sit down with, like four chairs, stuff like that. So if you guys are ever in the area, stop down. We can pop an episode on. But what do you got coming up soon? Where are you going to be traveling to? Any events you're going to be at?
This weekend we got that Badgerland. I don't refuse to call it Nationals. I just call it Badgerland. In La Crosse here.
Yeah, you do. I refuse to call it Nationals. And you shouldn't. You don't have to. We have so many conversations about that.
We can have a whole podcast on that.
Right? Okay, so you guys, how many kids you got signed up for that? And I noticed that you congratulated your group on registering under law, not La Crosse area wrestlers.
That's been a battle. That's been a battle.
The stars have aligned.
Yep. I mean, you get there the day of, and then it has like La Crosse area wrestlers, like -law.
Yeah.
Law. So I had to bring up like 3 things all day to track 40 kids.
Start handing slips out at practice. This is the registration name, and just
we have for a long time. Trust me.
It's hard. It's a team points, stuff like that. If you're trying to do that kind of thing, try to get everybody on the same page. So you got that coming up.
Yep. That'll be good. I mean, as much as we emphasize development in youth wrestling, we've also emphasized none of this matters.
Sure. Yep. Correct. Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's been the big thing to try and get through, parents' heads, especially. Like, I don't care if your kid's 500 and he's a 6th grader.
Yeah. Yep.
Has he got the right attitude, the right effort? Does he love it?
I remember first hearing that phrase of the wins don't matter, and I was still a highly competitive dad, because I was in sports, and Liam was just kind of starting, and there's like, oh well, we don't focus too much. I only heard it from like one coach or whatever at the time. I was like, what do you mean you don't focus on the wins? The fuck are we here for? What are we here for? Turns out that was poisonous. I don't want to tell my kid that, especially when he's young, and teaching him how to wrestle. So yeah, that's the best way to be. So
we got that this weekend. Taking a bus down to the Badger Hawkeye duel.
Yep, I saw that too. That looks pretty cool. How many guys you got going to that? That'll be a fun trip.
We got about total like 45, 50.
Sweet.
Going down there. So that'll be awesome.
Yeah.
We got a handful meeting us down there too that'll already be down that way.
Is that one, where is that? Is that in Wisconsin on this one?
Yeah, that's just in Wisconsin.
Oh boy. Last time I went to a Wisconsin versus Iowa duel, Trent Hilger was the only one that won, so good luck with that.
Well, see, Coach Van Manen, who used to run Law, is from Iowa. He's a big Hawkeye fan.
Sick.
Coach Gaffney learned how to wrestle. His first experience with wrestling, pretty much, his dad signed him up for the wrong camp, and he was at a Hawkeye intensive camp.
That was his first camp. Oh my god!
That was like his 5th week of wrestling.
Oh,
so he loves the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, he does. He sure does.
So we got a pretty split crowd going. So
That'll make it fun. Yeah, hell yeah. Sure. Are you guys going to try and tailgate?
We're going to get down a little early, take the kids, go grab something to eat and whatnot.
Nice. Get a little hammered for you guys show up, make a real appearance at the Badger Hawkeye.
No, I'll behave. Sundays, I'm well past my Sunday fun day.
Are you?
Age of life, yes.
Well, I mean, see, this is the thing. Like, this is cool stuff that you guys are doing. This is what I'm kind of talking about. You know, you're not just wrestling with the kids. You're taking them on a trip. Of course, it's for wrestling, but you're taking them there. You have, there are other clubs that kind of do certain things like this, but I don't see a lot of them doing a wrestling trip like this. You know what I'm saying? So, high five to you guys. I think it's great that you guys do that stuff. Cause I mean, there's a lot of kids that are kind of new to it, and they've never seen some of this stuff, and you're taking them to see some of the best wrestling teams in the country. So kudos to you guys, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. We are hosting our first, freestyle Greco tournament this spring too. So,
ooh, really?
I'm excited about that. Yeah.
Interesting.
We don't have much on the side of the state for tournaments, really. I mean, we can go up to Menominee, to Iowa, or over to Minnesota, but
well, you guys are only 5 seconds from Minnesota, but you guys are pretty sparse out there too. It's all spread out,
it is. So excited to get that going this year. That'll be good.
Interesting.
Just got the refs lined up, so that's the hardest part.
That is the hardest part. Did you handpick? Did you pick like each one? Were you like, we want this guy, and then like have a backup list? How'd you do that?
I just kind of messaged the ones I knew that did freestyle Greco.
The
new Holman's women's coach. He coaches the schoolboy team.
Okay.
Carl DeLuca.
Oh yeah. Yep. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
He's going to come. Hannah is going to bring Truck and Ryan. They're reffing now. So.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah, we want to do 3-person mechanics at our tournament. So.
Yeah. Well, that's the best way to do it. Cool. So what's the date? Is that April? You said what was the date for that?
Yeah, that's April 15th.
Okay, April 15th. Watch your calendars, folks, and watch track wrestling, freestyle Greco tournament, law dudes. That's why I always say law dudes. I don't know what else to say. Did you guys see the law dudes here? You're like, who's law dudes? I was like, Cory and those guys. Oh, those guys. Yeah, those guys. Anytime I say your name with law, everybody instantly knows who I'm talking about. So it's like you've created like this brand without creating a brand. Good job.
There we go.
Good job, man. Cool. Well, I'm going to get out of your hair, man, because I have to get ready for work myself. But let me know about this beach wrestling thing too, because we'll talk a little bit more once we hang up here. But because I thought about trying to start one over here because we don't have one over here. So I have some questions. I got a couple things I want to find out. But well, I'm going to end it there. We're going to start some music here so everybody knows that it's the end of the show. And then that way they can all hang up and not listen to me anymore. But the 5 people that listen, I'm just kidding. There's more than 5. But Cory, thank you very much. I appreciate you joining me, man. It's been fun. And we'll get you back on. We're going to get all these guys back on because there's always stuff going on. You guys are always evolving, changing stuff. So cool.
Yeah, everybody. Can't wait for the Kittleson podcast.
Yeah, I know. It's another one. Going to be a good one. Thanks, guys. All of our episodes are brought to you by Appleton Tattoo, located at 117 South Appleton Street in Appleton, Wisconsin, right off the main drag on College Avenue. You can't miss them. I've had some work done. I have a Celtic cross that covers my back that was done by Jason. We're not done yet. Jason Winans and crew, the artists that he have there, those guys are the best in the Fox Valley. They are definitely one to go to if it's something that you've just been kind of throwing around. They'll make you feel comfortable. It's a very clean environment, very nice crew, and very willing to get done whatever you need done when you need it done. You can message them on Facebook. I know they're on Facebook. You can give them a call at 920-604-8289 and get in touch with Jason Winans and crew at Appleton Tattoo, located again in Appleton, Wisconsin at 117 South Appleton Street, right in Appleton. Very flexible hours, great crew, clean environment again. I would not send you anywhere else except for these guys. Appleton Tattoo.